Welcome for another episode of 22RN, and I am here in the lobby of my hospital. I'm still waiting for my child, but the video today that I'm going to discuss is about the benefits of being a nurse here in America, or salary, insurance. So I'm going to discuss that with you today. So how's that? Okay, so we are back, and it's time for us to discuss what benefits we have here if you're working in America. So there's a lot of variations, I think. It depends on the hospital, but this is mostly what we have, and it's usually displayed in the website if you're gonna apply for a job in their website. So. Okay, first, number one. The first question, how much is my rate, right? So, well, for me, I started in Illinois, and I started with my agency, and we got a lower pay, but they were the one who spent everything. During my licensures, they spent for all the things that we need, including the airfare. But I started with around like 20.90, something like that per hour. But in Illinois, if you're gonna be a regular staff in the hospital, they usually start with 23 per hour as a new graduate. So there's a big difference, right? But it doesn't matter for me because my agency helped me anyway, and I didn't have to spend a lot of money in the Philippines to get in here. So I thank them for all the help. But there you go, it's 23. And if you're gonna look at the website, every state has a different rate. So in California, they say it's around 100 per hour, but it's expensive there too. And then I'm here in Maryland, and usually it starts around like 36, somewhere there per hour. So compute. Okay. So one thing to consider also is that if you're gonna be working in a hospital, you have a different rate because if you're gonna be working on a weekend, some hospital, their weekend is Friday and Saturday, not Saturday, Sunday. So mostly they're Friday, Saturday. So aside from your regular rate, let's just say you had like 23, right? In Illinois, 23, and then add on because you're working on a weekend, and also if you're going to be working on a night shift, there's also another additional pay too. So let's just say 23 per hour, and then maybe additional $2, 2.5 or 250, and then another 250 during the night. It just depends on the hospital. So let's just say you have 23 plus 250, you're gonna be ending up with 28 per hour. So that's good, right? So I would like to clarify also that with regards to pay, it doesn't start from the time you clock in. Imagine I work nights all the time because there's an additional pay, right? So, but the pay for the night differential, there's a certain time for it. Maybe around, sometimes maybe like 12 midnight onwards, or 12 midnight to 7 in the morning. There's a additional pay. Some hospital has an increment additional pay too. Some starts with around like 2 p.m. and then a little bit increment, and then 7 in the evening, a little higher, so it just depends. So there's a certain time also there. It doesn't say that if you're having 28, 23 to 15 to 50, it doesn't start with the time you clock in. There's a certain time that a certain additional will take effect. So there you go. Next thing is the insurance. I would like to tell you that in America, you need to have an insurance. If you don't have it, you will pay the government a penalty if you don't have an insurance. You have to have an insurance, and if you're employed here in a hospital, you have an insurance. The hospital will pay a certain fee of your insurance. Some hospital will give you free. It just depends, but as of now, I didn't see any hospital will give you free insurance. But and insurance is very expensive, so it depends on the plan that you're applying. For me, I have a child that is diabetic, and we always order insulin or syringes, strips. We order that all the time. So you have a guide. Actually, they're gonna give you a guide which plan do you wanna enroll yourself. And sometimes there's a cheaper plan, there's an expensive plan too, and then partially the hospital pays for it. And just to give you an idea, I think my payment every salary is around 170 per salary now, so $170, and that's paid per payday, so times 2. Before, when I was new, it was really high because my agency has insurance that's not really good, so the coverage is really not a lot. If you're gonna be admitted in a hospital, you will pay more. And that's one thing that I would like to add. If you have an insurance in America, it doesn't say that if you're hospitalized, you don't have to pay anything because you're insured. That's what we have in the Philippines, right? If you have an insurance, the insurance will pay for everything. But here, there's a certain amount that you have to pay. For example, you're admitted in an ED or emergency room, and then there's a bill of 1,300, and it's in the plan that you have. Like, you have to pay the first 1,000. That's not a good plan actually, but you're gonna pay the first 1,000, and then the insurance will pay the 300 remaining. That's the thing there. It's really funny. You pay them every time, but then if you're gonna be using the insurance, you still have to pay some of it. So get a good insurance. There's an insurance that you will be admitted in the ED. Let's just say the bill is 1,300 again, and you just pay like 150 or 200. That's a good plan, right? So it depends on the insurance that you have. And this part here is actually for the medical part of the insurance. There's another dental, and then there's also a vision. I don't know if you see or observe some friends that post some pictures in Facebook, and usually they have eyeglasses because most of the people here has insurance, and there's a vision coverage. So as you can see, I have eyeglasses too. I don't really like to use it, but I need it for work. So yep. So for the dental, it's kind of like similar to the medical too. You have to pay something for your dental if you're gonna be having some tooth extraction, or you're gonna have some dentures. You have to pay a lot too. The dental and vision doesn't really cover a lot of payments if they're gonna be due, for a denture or eyeglasses. For example, my eyeglasses this is actually expensive. The eyeglasses is around like 800 something, and I paid like 350. So that's almost like half or below half, right? But don't depend on the insurance. If you don't really need it, just don't. I guess I don't know. I don't know if you agree with me, but if you don't really need it, then why spend a lot of money? But if you do need it, then get it. And there's there's an assistance by the insurance. It's not a lot, but at least half is paid. So, yep. And the next thing that I'm gonna discuss is the PTO. PTO is a paid time off, something like that. When you're working in a hospital, you accumulate time, right? If you're working 3 times per week, and that's 36 hours, right? 12 times 3, and then later on it's gonna accumulate some hours, and that PTO is the one that you're gonna use if you're gonna have a vacation. You're gonna go home to the Philippines, and then even if you're there, you get paid because you're gonna be applying for a PTO. So some people has a PTO of 700 hours because they've been working there for like 20 years or something like that. That's the good thing if the hospital accumulates your PTO, but some hospital after a year they will cancel it, and then you're gonna go start with 0 again. So not good, right? So go to the hospital that has an PTO that will accumulate. That's why I have some friends that they had a vacation for like a month or 2 months. How's that for a vacation? You go to a vacation and you still have your salary, right? So that's a good situation. And yeah, I wish I have that, but I don't know about this hospital. I'm not really sure. I haven't really asked, but we do have some PTO here. So that's the PTO. Sick leave is similar to the Philippines. If you're admitted to the hospital, if you're sick, you still get your pay. But then there's a difference here. If you're gonna be absent, you're gonna call the HR or the human resource of the hospital so that you are excused for your absences. And then you don't have to file anything. It will be automatically go through the system, and you still have your pay will be put on your salary. But the technicality there is that some hospital will deduct the PTO first before the sick leave. So let's just say you're absent for 3 days, and then there's a rule in that certain hospital that the first 2 days will be PTO. So, and then the third, that's the time they're gonna apply the sick leave. So some hospital will do the sick leave after the 3 days. So let's just say you have 4 days of absence. They're gonna deduct your hours to the PTO for the first 3 days, and then the 4th day will be the sick leave. So it's also tricky, right? So the PTO is always deducted. And then just want to let you know that if you're gonna resign to your job and then you have a PTO remaining, they will pay you that. They will pay the PTO, the remaining PTO, how many hours you have. Like you say you have like 200 hours times per your hourly rate, and they will pay you when you resign. And then the sick leave, they will not pay. They will not pay that. There are I think there was a mention that some companies will pay the sick leave, but then usually they don't. So the PTO is always paid. It's a law. So there you go. Okay, and then the next thing will be the 401k. I don't know if you've seen that in the internet. The 401k is your retirement. So back in the day, when you're working in a company, right, for like years and years and years, if you're gonna be retiring, you will be having that what do you call that one? Retirement. Um, you're gonna be getting your retirement pay, and then every month you still have something that you will receive every month. But then they discontinued that one, and then now they have this 401. 401k is a retirement plan that you're gonna put in through a bank with agreement with the hospital. Some hospital will pay 5% of your salary, and then some hospital will pay 6% of your salary. So that is a 50-50. You will be deducted with the 401k in your salary too, and then other half will be the hospital. So 6% from the hospital, and say 6% is from you. So it's always deducted to you, I think every month, not every payday, but every month. And that's gonna be your sort of like retirement savings. If you're gonna be retiring after a certain age, I think they changed the age now. I'm not familiar with what age. It was like 65 before, but they increased the year. But you're gonna be receiving that 401k if you're on the retirable age. You can have a bulk of it, and then get the remaining, I think, per payday. With regards to 401k, since I'm not yet retired, just want to let you know that this is not 100% accurate. I will do some more research about it, but that's the thing there. It's sort of like the same as the retirement plan previously, but they call it now 401k, and you have to have a share, and the hospital will have a share too. So 50-50 for the both of you to accumulate retirement savings for you. But if you're gonna be taking that before you retire, there's gonna be a tax deduction. So if you're gonna put the 401k in a bank and then you will not use it, they will you will be able to get it without the tax. So that's the good thing there. You're gonna put the money in your bank, you have a share too, right? And then there's no tax, there's no tax deduction. But then if you're gonna be getting it, you can actually get your 401k anytime. You know, if you want to have a loan, you can loan it too, but then you know there's an interest. If you're gonna be loaning your money, it's still your money. But that's the thing there. So get that 401k when you're on a retirement age. That's what I mean. So 401k applies for a hospital that has income, and then if you're gonna be applying for a job in a non-profit hospital like the one that I have here, you know, it's the hospital gets some donations so that they can work or function as a hospital, and you don't have the 401k. They call it 403, but it's similar. All the application is still the same, but they call it 403. So another one, if you're working in a hospital, they will recognize you. Yeah, they have some awards. They call Daisy Awards, or you know, it depends on the hospital that you're working. But if you're gonna be winning that, you have a prize. Sometimes they give you cash or check or a gift check. So that's a good thing there. You're gonna be motivated to work, you know, to be a better nurse, and you improve yourself, and people nominate you. The patient will nominate you, and who knows, you might win, right? And you get to have some money. So some hospital also help you with your education. So as you know, most of the hospital are aiming to get nurses that are BSN, And here in America, you can be an RN by going to school for 2 years, and you can be a nurse, and you can have the same pay as the other nurses, except if you're like leveled up, you're like a charge nurse, or if you're a nurse practitioner, then you can have a higher pay. But as an entry nurse, you can get the same salary as a new graduate with a 2-year course nursing studies. But they're aiming to get nurses now as a BSN. So if you're hired as an RN and you're just a 2-year course nursing graduate, you can be a nurse, and then you have to assign before you're what do you call that one? If you're accepted, before you're accepted in the hospital, you have to make sure that after 4 years you'll be a BSN. The hospital pays some of your tuition too, so that's a good thing there. There's an education assistance if you're gonna be studying, to level up your education. You want to be a BSN, you want to be a nurse practitioner, and then the hospital will pay some of your tuition there. So in my previous hospital, they pay like $3,000, $4,000 to tuition. I don't know what their tuition is because I didn't go to enroll myself for another education, but they're just mentioning it. I didn't know what or how much they are paying for their semester, but then the hospital is giving them like 3,500 or 4,000, so that's good. They're encouraging you to study and be a better, level up your career. And then I think this is the last one. We have holiday pays. Like for example, if the calendar is red, if you'll be working on that day, they're gonna there's gonna be another rate for you. I don't know, in the Philippines we have double pay, but here there's an additional pay. This depends on the hospital, I think. But if you have a holiday and if you're working on that day, you have an additional. If you're not working on that day, you can have an additional holiday off. So that's a good thing too. You can be off on that or on a particular day, and then they're gonna give you your regular rate as if you're like still working. So a lot of things discussed today. I think my video is already long. I just hope that you are interested. But if you have some questions, you put this in the comments and I will answer you. My channel is not really busy. And hopefully I can help you with anything that you want to know. Okay, so that's gonna be the video for today. Thank you very much for watching, and please support my channel. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.